captain, Virgil Van Dijk. Try to see if you can stop me on this one. Just incredible. And the Virgil van Dijk's performance in the League Cup final, that's his second man of the match, the second Alan Hardacre trophy that he's taken home. I want a picture of him with one in each hand. They weigh an absolute ton, those things. Imperious at the back, dominant defensively, scores what to my eyes is a perfectly good goal that should have been the one that settled it. Obviously ruled out from VAR, and then decides in the dying embers of extra time that he's actually just going to go and win the game for Liverpool again. Dad, we mentioned it on the previous show, but I was a little concerned that the concept of Van Dijk as Liverpool captain, for me, he felt like we were moving back towards a Steven Gerrard type captain. Bear in mind, Gerrard was a great captain, but he was one of those who I think, I don't know, led by passive aggression and his own will, as opposed to being a great leader on the pitch at times.
Well, I think he became captain after probably his worst time at Liverpool. Mm-hmm. He came back from injury. How he came back in August instead of having to wait until the following January, which is what most footballers would have had to do to get back, even able to just get on the pitch. He comes back and he plays every game in the season practically, and everyone's moaning, oh, he's lost it, hasn't he? He hasn't quite got the pace anymore. Now, since he's been captain, he's never been better than he is now. Yeah. And today, you saw it. You feel safe when he's got the ball.
Yeah.
They pass the ball to him all the time, and no one can take it off him. He's just looking around waiting for a pass. Sometimes it's short, sometimes it's long. He just exudes confidence and leading by example. He's not a great shouter, I don't think, but he does lead by his own brilliance. And
I think, as I say, you can lead when you're that good. So this with Ronaldo at Man United, and when Liverpool weren't great and Gerrard was the captain, he was captain of withering glances, and I think sometimes that can eat into what you're doing. And I worried that Virgil would have a bit of that because he's just too good. So when people don't get up to your standards, it's actually not because they're not trying; it's just because they're not as good as you. That's really hard when you give world-class footballers the captain's armband. You're setting examples on and off the pitch and how they conduct themselves, but sometimes on the pitch you can undermine the rest of the side. Mm-hmm. But yeah. He's been inclusive, I think, and also for a guy who looks often like it's absolutely effortless, there can be a temptation sometimes, and I think this was part of his problem, was that it actually stopped being effortless for him, and he had to dig deep. And I think what we've seen from Van Dijk, and it's typified in the final, is that he's had to fight for this. And he's having to fight for Liverpool every game. And not only is he doing that, he's enjoying it as well. He looks like he's having more fun as a footballer. He's working harder than I think he ever has had to. He's absolutely excelling in what he's doing, and he's half the time he's doing it with a smile on his face.
Yeah, I think he's relishing the challenge, isn't he? Ultimately, he's obviously relishing the captaincy. There's no two ways about that. But I think the fact that the key players in and around him aren't there at the moment. I think he is looking around and saying, "Okay, I need to be the man more than ever before." And that was a performance today of a fella who was not to be denied. We've seen that with his goal. Obviously, as I say, probably felt aggrieved to have not done it half an hour, 45 minutes earlier or whatever. He was just not having it. He wasn't going to be on the losing side today. I thought positionally, defensively, he was absolutely exceptional. I thought the way he led the side was just incredible as well. But you're right, he's obviously, it's a difficult dynamic when you give the captaincy to one of your key players, or indeed your best player, because you're right, it can be a bit like, had they given it to him because he's the best player, or is he a proper natural leader? I think he's grown into the captaincy actually in recent weeks even more than ever before. He's really feeling like he is going to be the guy to drag us forward. He's going to drag us through this little tricky patch with all the injuries and all the depletion of the squad and stuff like that, and he has just been immense. And I think today, that was peak Virgil van Dijk today. He doesn't really get much better than that from a defensive standpoint. He was flawless, he was imperious, he was everywhere he needed to be, won all his duels, won all his battles. They tried to compete against him, he was having none of it, and it was peak Virgil van Dijk for me. And yeah, it had everything. It had the leadership qualities, it had the attacking qualities, as John mentions, on the ball as well. Just unstoppable Virgil, and when he's in that sort of mood, he's impossible to compete with.
Yeah, he was the perfect footballer, exactly what we needed on the day. And that fact that busting narratives, he was the one who wanted Liverpool to win, and this is a guy who in seasons gone by, he might not have even played in the League Cup. Whereas we saw it in the Fulham games. He wants to be in them teams because he's the captain, and he wants to get his hands on that trophy. And I think that's what it was. That nobody on that pitch wanted to get their hands on that trophy more than Virgil van Dijk.
Absolutely. It just looked like that when he was going for those headers. I mean, that's 3 headers in the last 2 games. They're all exactly the same header. And he's just that determined. And if you give me the cross in the right place, and I'm going to stick it in the net, and no one's going to be able to stop me. And he just looked like he thought, right, I've had enough of this messing now. Game's over. Throw the ball over. Boom.
No,
He even talked about the Southampton game post-match. Like, he's already that switched on, that focus. He wants to be a part of something so special. He's already talking about playing Southampton in midweek. That's his mentality right now. It's, we're not done here, we're moving on and on and on. And I'm at the forefront of it, and that was his performance today. A
nice little moment as well. That obviously, that's his first trophy lift as Liverpool captain, that he shares it with the manager as well, which is, it's a stupid thing, because I think we've all got our eyes on, like, well, that's just like one tick, and like we're almost past it and done. Whereas, and Liverpool, again, are doing this whole one game at a time thing, absolutely. But said it on other places, that might be it now. But we might not win any more silverware. So that's, they've bagged that, they've achieved that. It's a lovely moment for the manager, it's a lovely moment for Van Dijk, and I like the fact that it almost means from all of them, that's banked. It's like, getting to a millionaire. You get to your first point, get your first 1,000 or whatever it is, get to a nice solid save point, and you can push on from now, because even if you fail, you've got that to fall back on. So I absolutely love that. I'm sorry guys, I'm giving him 10 out of 10.
I can't argue against that again. Like, it was incredible. I've never seen such a well-rounded performance, and the determination.
That one with his head right at the end as well. Did it from it was an inch away from blammed at him, and he still headed it away.
Seeing as it was a cup win, and he got to lift the trophy, then I'll give him 10.
Oh, go on, Dad. There we go. It's a red letter day in the history of Redmen and the entire life of John Machin, that he is free of his own volition, given a 10 out of 10 rating for Virgil van Dijk. That's how you know he was good. Yes, was he man of the match? In your eyes, he was officially man of the match. But let me know in the comments.